Hello and welcome to this week's Christmas special episode. It is the 20th of December. Merry Christmas, everyone. And if you don't tune in every week, myself, Ben Richards, and Jack Jiggins normally every week touch on 8 to 10 things that have happened in the week that will help you grow your business, things that we've learned, things that you can learn from. We are property developers, serial entrepreneurs. We run numerous businesses and we run the Property Experts podcast, which is what you're tuning into. Loads of great feedback on this recently, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you very much. But at the moment on YouTube, we're getting about 200 views an episode on average. It's not enough. We want more. You tell us it's great. We want you to be telling other people that it's great and sharing it as far and wide as you possibly can. Posting it on Facebook groups when you watch an episode. Tell your mum, tell your gran, whoever you want to tell. We just want to share it as wide and as far as possible. And if you're interested in starting and scaling your property business in 2025, we will be doing a live webinar for an hour and a half on Monday, the 6th of January, 2025. So if you're interested in joining that webinar, comment down below, drop us a DM, and we can send you further details. But on to this week's special Christmas episode. We are going to be talking about our 2024 in review and the highlights that we feel are pertinent to sort of talk about. And I think when you're busy running around the hamster wheel, running businesses, it's so difficult to take stock and actually pat yourself on the back. And I know there'll be plenty of people listening to this that just don't take a breath. So forcing yourself to sit down, having a look at what you've done, where you've come from, strategizing about where you're going is so important to do. And Christmas is an amazing time to do that. So today, 2024 review and highlights. We're going to be looking at our 2025 goals, both kind of personal and business. Jack's going to be giving a little bit of value after that for how to value land, both from a land perspective and existing buildings. And then if you want to grow your property business in 2025, stay tuned to point number 5. And then, as always, a Q&A at the end for you to ask your questions. So if you've got any pertinent questions that you've been thinking about all year, burning desires within your businesses that you don't know how to solve, drop them in the comments below and we will pick up on them as soon as we can at the end of the episode. So welcome. Cool. So 2024, we wanted to start with a few highlights and a few fun highlights for those that are tuning in on YouTube. This experience will be far better for you because you can actually see some of the things that we've been up to. We've got a lot of photos on screen, sort of going through some of the key things that we've done. And Jack, I don't know if you wanted to start with a few of your favorites.
Yeah, so big personal ones for me are definitely enrolling and completing the Goldman Sachs Small Business Growth Program, which ran pretty much from September to like a couple of weeks ago, which is one of those ones where they say to you at the beginning, you need to make sure you've got enough time to give to this course. And you're like, yeah, I can make time. And that was one of the main reasons actually that we took on an exec assistant to help Ben and I with time management and carry out those low value tasks. But it was so absorbing, very challenging, very interesting. I've now got a 55-page, 16,000 word business plan that Ben and I are going to implement some of the areas over the next year, which is super exciting. But yeah, highly recommend it. Absolutely loved it. Met some amazing people in my growth group. It's so interesting that you realize how much you network in property circles when you join something like this, because I was the only property person out of 60 very fast growing businesses, and understanding their problems. You know, I talked about raising debt. No one knew anything about it. We actually had a panel talk about raising debt, and everyone's like, what's personal guarantee? What's leverage? And I'm like, wow, all these other businesses that are just caring about, you know, financial
Sales.
P&L, exactly. Sales. Ben, your mic's gone a bit funny. So yeah, hugely loved it. Completed the course. Highly recommend it. And I'm super excited. There was a few nights where the wife was watching me work till like midnight, back like literally every day for like 3 weeks on my business growth plan and my presentation. So loved it. That's definitely a key highlight, a selfish key highlight, because there's loads of team stuff on there, but that's one I'm gonna start with.
Nice. Is my microphone better?
No, I think it's pulling from your computer.
Right, sweet. All right, I'll change it.
I'll do another one while you figure that. Another really, really big highlight was actually winning an award in a Pyro Social for Progressive Social Housing Award. I believe it was. The terminology might have escaped me, but because it was so long ago, I actually saw that image and thought, God, that was this summer. It feels like it was last year.
Feels like an age, doesn't it? I found it flicking through some of our slides and was like, oh yeah, we won that.
Yeah, but that was a huge achievement because I think that was kind of recognition for hard work. When you in our development company, I feel that we're doing tons of really, really cool, good things and tons of things that go wrong, and that's just business. And in a Paro specifically, in the social portfolio, everything has been going wrong and there's been no going right. So it's nice to have a little bit more wind behind our sails, because we've been in treacherous storms and not going in the direction that we wanted to go in. So that was a light at the end of the tunnel, I would say.
Nice, good. I mean, one of the top things for me in 2024 was the birth of my second baby boy, little Teddy. So he's on the screen there with Lucas, which was absolutely incredible, and he's doing really well after about 6 weeks. Only 6 weeks old now, 6 weeks tomorrow, but he's doing fantastically well. So is his mum. So super happy, and hopefully that continues. One of the other key things that we've been doing for 2 years running now. Last year, I think we raised £9,000 for the charity Mind. This year we raised £5,000 for the charity Mind Oxfordshire, and that was because we kayaked between us about 61 kilometers, isn't it? Yeah, from Abingdon all the way down to Henley-on-Thames. So we spent a full day leaving at sort of 6 a.m, not getting into the pub until sort of 4:30, 5 o'clock. Everyone's arms burning, but it's so much fun. We may well do it again next year, but we'd like to make every year slightly bigger again. So maybe we go further or we do something different. If you're interested in joining us on that trip in the summer in our next charity event, then do let us know. But that was actually brilliant, and you can see us with beers at the end in that photo in the middle. Another highlight was the go-karting. So it's the Property Daytona Go-Kart Challenge. So it's an endurance race, which was, how long were we out there for? Was it 12 hours? 6 hours?
6 hours, yeah.
6 hours. Yeah, 12 would be mad. So 6 hours, a team of like 8 to 10 people. We will be probably doing 2 teams next year. So again, if you're interested in joining us on our go-karting adventures next sort of August, September, whenever it is, do let us know, because it's so much fun. It really takes it out of you. The day that we did the trial run the day before was absolutely pissing down with rain, so everyone was just spinning out and spinning off, but the day itself was actually gorgeously sunny, and everyone had a great time. So yeah, can't complain. Last week you were in Dubai, I'd imagine.
I was.
I put that photo there for you, assuming that was one of your highlights.
Yeah, it was. Awesome trip. I had the pleasure of going to speak at a property mastermind run by Tyler Newman, with some real winners and people that are very inspiring in what they do. And he was being in Dubai and spending time with Daniel Priestley. I've never been to Dubai before, so even though I was only there for 3 days, it was awesome to see it, and went to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which is actually the photo that we've got there. But yeah, good for me to almost feel very important going out and doing a talk. Being flown out to speak somewhere is a weird feeling, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that sort of that moment, or I suppose stage in my career where you're on stage, you're on the same stage as someone like Daniel Priestley. So that was enjoyable, but also being around the higher caliber people for a few days was amazing. But yeah, definitely a highlight.
Nice, good. And then we've got some photos of some interns that we took on over the summer. So placements from Reading University, from a real estate background, a property management background. Some of those interns have sort of stayed on with us part-time, for example, but a really good experience, I think, for them, and a great experience for us to kind of train people up and show them what life in the real estate industry is really like, because I know from my experience of my university course, it wasn't until I hit the real world that I actually started to learn stuff. So I imagine they got huge amounts of value out of the sort of couple of months that they were working with us. So thanks for everyone who joined that. And then you've got the TDC as well. Yeah,
I think we're last but not least. That photo is actually UK Reef, but we did MIPIM and UK Reef with the TDC this year. next year, I think I'm just going to be keen to only go to UK Reef. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, great event.
And
Was up in Leeds for a few days.
UK Real Estate and Investment something.
Foundation, something like that.
Yeah, but it's all about the UK property development, real estate infrastructure. You've got different councils, you've got different big players, SME developers, civil engineer, everything from within that space.
It made me laugh. I heard someone say the other day that MIPIM is spending a fortune to fly out to south of France so that you can meet with people that you could meet in London. And it made me laugh. But I find MIPIM too international for a business like ours, or all the businesses like ours, whereas UK Reef was so densely packed with got absolute gold. So thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be going back again.
Good stuff. So that's a bit of the fun stuff that happened last year. And then in terms of highlights from across the businesses, there are a few here on screen. I'll start with some of the planning applications that we managed to achieve. We got about 14 additional units in 2024 added to our pipeline in delivery. So we're delivering 65 flats across 5 sites at the moment. 14 of those were kind of approved through the planning process in 2024 as a brand new application or as an enhancement to the applications that we already had in the bag, basically. So, for example, this one on screen, the old Maltings, was 16 flats when we bought the site. We took it to 20 flats very quickly. And then we've most recently got planning approval for an extra 2 units in the car park. And the reason that I wanted to show this one is that one was and is my highlight for 2024, because when you view a site and you visit a site and you get something in your head that you think will work, but you don't know, and planning is always a tricky one. But going to that site, seeing the potential for those Muse houses and making it come to life, getting a planning application in, although it wasn't an easy ride due to the archaeological officer just dragging things out, but it's great to actually get that over the line. And we're now having that priced up with the view to starting works on that in the new year. So yeah, great successes in the planning process. Some amazing projects that we're working on, like the image in the middle, which is one of my favorite images of 2024, which is the mez decks at our St Andrew's Court. So for those that can't see it and are tuning in, we always talk about using 3D volumes. Not just thinking about floor plans as 2-dimensional, but if you've got big vaulted ceilings with the ability to fit in extra floor levels, extra mezzanine levels, this is a great way in which we've managed to achieve that extra floor space, a really funky double height vaulted ceiling with a mez deck above the kitchen, and that whole flat feels absolutely incredible. I can't wait to go back, because yesterday the balustrades for the terraces were going on, the show furniture has been cleaned, everything's been sort of staged for professional photos, and that flat is really my favorite flat of 2024.
Lovely job. They haven't had too much acquisitions this year. I think it was just the doctor's surgery. We've obviously had Chertsey and a few others. But yeah,
delivery, isn't it?
Yeah, we feel like real developers that aren't just pushing lawyers and banks around. It's actually on-site delivering stuff. But yeah, from an acquisition perspective, excited to see our project in Longhambra, which is just outside Woodstock, to get fully finished and let out early next year, as a bit of a cash cow into the business, which is quite exciting. And one of the other highlights there is XP Surveys' local events in Henley-on-Thames. I think that was our 3rd event this year. The first 2 actually sold out super quickly. And it's really nice to bring in local businesses, because a lot of the networking events we go to are not necessarily supporting local entities. So yeah, good highlight for the XP Surveys team to put on those events and continuously sell those out. So we'll be doing slightly bigger and better things next year. There's been talks about a panel event, which we haven't done before, but yeah, stay tuned and maybe comment XP Surveys event if you want to come to our event next in Henley-on-Thames, and we'll share the details with you. It's completely free, and that's why it probably sells out, because there's food and drink on display and consumption.
Nice. One of the things that we decided to implement this year within XP Property is to actually understand how we are performing as a business and how, you know, Jack and I are essentially performing as leaders of those businesses, directors of the business, and that was via the what's called the Net Promoter Score. So effectively, you're asking your team, you know, would you recommend externally working for XP Property? You know, the feedback was really, really great. We had some really interesting comments that helps us tweak things and amend things going forward. But generally, you know, I've bridged the gap between the 8 and the 9, because we actually average 8.8 on the Net Promoter Score. So yeah, super happy with that. You know, we'll obviously look to continuously improve that, and this is something we'll be rolling out, you know, quite regularly within the business to understand how the team's getting on. You know, fundamentally, you're only as good as your weakest link. So you want your team to be happy, and you want everyone to be pushing forward.
Yeah, cool. I also wanted to share a highlight for this year that is probably more, well, it is more for Central Suites and not actually on screen, which is actually my brother's taken more of a step out of the lettings and letting the lettings team manage that and moving more into project delivery. And at this moment in time, we actually have just under £6 million worth of stock which we're delivering, which isn't bad. You know, there's a lot of development companies not even doing that delivery. Actually, I think a small development business is between 0 and 5 million. So technically that almost carries us into a medium-sized development business. So yeah, so while we've been fairly quiet in the acquisitions in XP, the work hasn't stopped in Central Suites, and my brother's been making a bit of a transition over. So that's definitely something to share that's not necessarily on the slides.
Nice. One thing I did want to touch on before we go into some other stuff is, you know, if you are watching this on YouTube, if you're tuning in on LinkedIn or, you know, wherever you are, let us know what your highlights are of your 2024 down in the comments. Let us know what your goals are for 2025. I think last week or the week before, we did a bit of a session on setting your goals for 2025. And one of the key things I ended on was to share those things, because if you share them out into the world will hold you accountable. Like, the people that view it will hold you accountable. You feel more incentivized to deliver on those goals and actually achieve them because you've told everyone about it. So you almost have that guilt of not doing it to push you forward. So let us know down below in the comments, what are your goals for 2025? What have you achieved in 2024? And what you're super happy to give yourself a pat on the back for. Cool. Some of the other things that I've really, and I didn't actually find this stat out until last week when YouTube notified me, but we've had over 250,000 views of our Aura YouTube channel, which is amazing, because 2024 was all about, you know, year of the YouTube and really sort of going to town on showing and showcasing a lot of the great work that the team are doing and presenting and creating home walkthroughs and home video tours of finished products, talking about how we come up with some of our designs and introducing new ways of showing people, you know, inspiration of how what you can take away for your own project. So yeah, to see that 250,000 views, 250,000 views, I mean, it seemed mad actually. That number is so big, but I'm super happy to do that with the Aura channel. And then with the XP Property channel, obviously, you guys might be tuning in via that YouTube channel. We've really sort of tried to up our game over the last 6 months. We've got more videos being pulled out of our weekly lives and pushed into kind of standalone topical videos themselves, which is sort of bringing up the viewership, bringing up our subscriber base. You can see in the stats on the right-hand side there that this year we got 38,000 views within XP Property. It's 107% more than the previous year, which is massive. You know, we've really, you can see it on the graph here, you know, even over the last 3 months, the traction that we're gaining with those individual videos is absolutely incredible. You guys are obviously doing a good job of kind of sharing it and watching, and, you know, the watch time is increased almost by 100% as well. So yeah, almost 3,000 hours watched on our YouTube channel in 2024, which is amazing.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out what that is in days. Yeah, 125 days,
Wow.
which is pretty cool. You know, you guys are listening, you're tuning in. We're getting more and more comments every week. So keep that coming.
I was chatting to Tom Skeen, he's a developer, on Instagram yesterday while I was just doing some work, and he sent me his screenshot of his Spotify top listens, and top's ground up and second is XP Property. Nice. And I was like, you must be so sick of our voice.
We like that a lot. Cool. I mean, on that note, the Property Experts podcast, we've grown 384% in terms of followers on the podcast. We've got 11 top fans. So I guess, was it Tom you said?
Tom's probably in it, yeah.
Tom's probably one of those top fans, which is great. So, we are seeing the statistics kind of slowly increase, and we've never put any kind of paid spend behind getting this out there. It's all organic at the moment. It's something that we are considering for 2025 to kind of gain a lot more traction, but to a certain degree I feel like cheating if we're putting money behind it. So we want it to grow organically. We want the right people to be tuning in, and so far the comments that we get have been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, we would love you to share it further. Cool. Any other highlights?
We're still alive.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Yeah, sometimes it feels like by the skin of our teeth, but there we go. So yeah, that
You've muted, Ben. So now we've given you our highlights of the year, fun and business stuff. I guess we're going to give a review, Ben, of what we were targeting to do this year.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, all good.
Turning off. Oh yeah. So goals we'd set at the beginning of last year, and if you're interested in sort of watching back the Christmas special from last year, 2023, it was episode 49, streamed 11 months ago. So you can go and check that out. But effectively, our target was hitting 100 mil in GDV delivered, and I think we're on 91 million by the last count across all businesses. Yeah. So pretty decent, pretty decent effort. That's from standing start from 2018, right? Isn't it? That's over the last 6-7 years. Yeah. Cool. Second on the list was profit first, not growth. We've talked about growth being the absolute killer and destroyer of profit over the last couple of months. And it's very true. When you're growing in a business and you're reinvesting, it's so hard to be profitable. So certainly for Aura, my goal was to sort of make the bottom line more important. It was a massive thing for XP Surveys to get in that sort of profitability space. And obviously XP is delivering a huge amount of assets at the moment. So that profit hasn't really sort of come through from an XP perspective, because next year is when we're going to be selling all of the stock that we're delivering. So next year will be the sort of big profitable year. 250 units delivered. I think we did 208. Yeah,
every month that goes by now, we should complete that within the next couple of months, really. We're I suppose if some of our projects weren't delayed, we would have smashed that. But it's a weird year because we kind of already had everything lined up for this year, so it's like it doesn't feel like a lot's changed. And then I think early next year we'll hit all these targets. So almost there. That'd
be nice. Number 4, solidify the social housing portfolio.
A bit
by bit. Yeah, that has been probably the biggest challenge if we're talking about challenges for 2024. The social housing portfolio has been so difficult to manage, to maintain, to cash flow, to firefight. But I think we're doing all we can. As sort of business owners, as property developers, you need to be resourceful. We've certainly been resourceful in that business. We've had to solve a lot of problems, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, as they say. So I do think Q1 of 2025, a lot of our issues will be ironed out, will be stabilized, will be in a net positive cash flow position every month, and hopefully would have resolved a lot of the issues there. So all good. Secure 6 projects, including 3 times planning uplift plays. Did we do that in 2024?
So I think we've secured 3 projects, 4. Well, we've actually secured 5, but one of the so we secured 5 projects, but only one of those is a planning uplift.
So not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
I think this goes back to like having the business plan, doesn't it? In terms of was it actually 6 projects that we needed, or was it 4? 4 bigger projects at higher GDV, etc. And that's really something we're looking at for 2025. Get XPS profitable. Unfortunately not. In 2024, we've still got a lot of work to do to turn that around.
But it's going in the right direction.
It is, yeah, it definitely is. The sort of the bleeding is being stemmed. The bucket holes are being filled. We are increasing the sales that are coming in. We've taken on Trevor about 6 months ago as a business development manager, and putting a lot of things in place to kind of drive that top line revenue into the business. So yeah, watch this space. Hopefully this time next year we'll be reporting that we are in a profitable position. Find 2 to 3 family offices for investment, 5 to 10 million a year. We sort of canned that, didn't we?
Yeah, so early in the year we decided, well, actually, I mean, we were not looking to do the big raise, but it's actually still a target to get our feet under the table with 2 or 3 family offices that are slightly smaller. So that's still a goal and a target, but we've been obviously focusing on delivery and reforming the business. So yeah, I think that will actually push into the next year to actually work with. We have actually found one, which we've got terms on our desk for a deal that we're looking at the moment. So we've part delivered that, so that's semi-successful. But yeah, more attention has actually been focused on our existing investors, which you'll hear a little bit more about later.
Nice. Point number 8 made me laugh. Fewer last minute legals, when I know that this morning and yesterday Tess was rushing around to try and get another sort of refinance over the line just before Christmas. I mean, I don't think that's ever going to change. I genuinely just think, like, with the legal process in the UK, with the delays, with the bottlenecks, it's just so hard to plan anything like with a level head and a decent time frame. Yeah,
I guess the more we do deals with people that we've already done business with, the easier it becomes. But yeah, it's I mean, I'd hate to even pull up a balance of what we spent this year legally. It's unearthly. It would be easily £250,000.
Yeah, don't do it.
And it's not quick. It's stressful.
Yeah. So I don't think we've really achieved that one. I don't think we ever will. But you know, it was good to be on there because it was a massive stress of 2023. Cool. Number 9, focus on XP surveys and Central Suites goals, which I guess we have. You know, you've smashed CSL this year. XPS is on the right track.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot more attention to XPS. I feel like it's been sort of a bit of a, you know, an adopted child in the group to some degree at sometimes, where we do get distracted with other things that need firefighting. But there's been a lot of attention through the business growth. Business development manager has definitely helped hold everyone accountable to the goals that we set in the business coaching calls. So I feel like, yeah, we've made really good progress in both businesses, although they're not, you know, they're not the finished product. They're getting there.
Yeah. And then 10, take drawings from XBP. I mean, we've got a small salary that we take every month. We haven't been able to kind of get the large drawings out of it that we want to, basically because of some of the earlier things we've said about profit first. You know, we are delivering. Our big delivery pipeline is now and into 2025. So by the end of 2025, we should be in a much better kind of cash position than we have been. But we should be able to tick that off next year for sure. And then number 11, monetize YouTube. This is something we need your help with. You know, we need to share it around, like I mentioned earlier. But we're about 80% of the way there. And I think with the growth over the last couple of months and with the new things we're putting in place in terms of pulling out individual topics from our lives and repurposing it and utilizing shorts and growing our follower base that way, I reckon by March next year we'll be in a position that we're monetized. We are on the right trajectory with the level of kind of posting and attention that we are getting. So all in all, I'd say, what do you reckon? Rate it, not allowed a 7.
And never allowed a 7. It's a cop out. I think we've had a good year, to be fair. I think that there's a lot riding on the speed of sales that we've got coming. What you can do in a delivery perspective, and we've had a lot on. So I think a lot of that rides in sales, but things that we can control, I think we've had a good, strong year. So I'd probably give it an 8.
Yeah, I was going to say an 8 as well. I think it has been good. I'm super excited to get things over the line in 2025 and get to the end of these schemes that we seem to have been in some of these schemes for 3 or 4 years, but they're now coming to fruition, which is great to see. So what have we learnt? These were meant to come up individually, but anyway, I forgot to do the animations.
Did you see some of the late ones that I put in?
I did, yeah. It made me laugh. Cool, let's go through them. So get your books in line. That was one of mine. It's absolutely fundamental for any business, let alone a property development business where there's so many moving parts, to have the finance system in place that caters for what you need. We're still tweaking ours. We've gone through a massive shift in 2024 and improved it massively, but we've still got a lot of work to do to make sure that our project finance cash flows feed into our business finance cash flows. We use Zero accounting software. If you're tuning into this, if you're listening in, highly recommend it. It's cost like 30 quid a month to have everything, your bookkeeping and accounting all in one place in a digital platform, where you can upload receipts, invoices, and see everything very easily in terms of management accounts, profit and loss, balance sheets, everything that you need in your business to understand and get financial clarity around where you are. So cannot recommend doing that enough. We'll do one each. You go for one now.
Yeah, cool. Did you put in always be capital raising?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, cool. I won't do that one then.
Spoiler alert.
Slow sales process can undo hard work, and that's just more around some of the schemes that we finished where the sales process takes too long and you've got to keep debt on that particular site. I actually almost think that there's more skill in strategically selling and speed of sites than actually the delivery in itself altogether. I just think that every unit that takes, we sold a house in Central Suites and we had the offer accepted on the 4th of June and it completed last week. So 6 to 7 months, and the margin is eroding until there was literally no margin. And that was, down to multiple things. We actually accepted an offer with someone that had quite a complicated, shared ownership within a management company, and everyone, they needed to drive down to, Sheffield to get the gingerbread man to sign it off, and it erodes your profit. So yeah, that's one big focus that I think XP should be focusing on over the raft of sites that we've got coming to market, is just focus really dialed down on those sales and accepting the right offers. Like an offer, you get excited, the value's right, but actually the proceedability is probably more important for us.
Yeah, agree. That is actually stealing the one that I put in there, which is time really does equal money, brackets dev finance. Because like you say, that dev finance, that interest cost, at the end of a project just absolutely destroys profit margin. And one thing that I've certainly learned this year, historically, we've been, holding off on pulling the trigger on surveys, architects, planning consultants, until we've got absolute certainty of exchange or completion. We've been we don't want to spend any money until we know we've absolutely got this project secured. And in reality, if you do that, you could then waste 2 to 3 months at the start of, after you've exchanged or bought a project, where if you then start those works, you're effectively tagging that 2 to 3 months on to the end of your project. And the end of your project is where you're holding millions of pounds of debt. So by getting your ducks in a row and taking a little bit of a risk on what actually is quite small fry in terms of, let's say you're holding £2 million worth of debt at the end of a project, and it's at 10%, you're talking like 15, 16 grand a month in interest on holding that asset. If that goes 2 months or 3 months because you've not done the work up front, you could be talking 50 grand's worth of interest at the tail end. Now your architects, your surveys, your planning consultants, whatever it may be, might only have cost you 15 grand at the front end at risk. So it's you either losing 15 grand if the project falls through, or you're costing yourself 50 grand by delaying things at the tail end if you do actually win it. So it's fundamental that you basically get your ducks in a row as early as possible in the project. Time really does equal money. You need to be absolutely on your program, on your delivery, getting things in line as soon as you possibly can.
Completely agree.
Planning shit. That was one of yours, but it should be all of ours.
I just thought, if it's not in here, we're lying to everyone, aren't we? It's still shit. Don't need to say anything more, really. It's terrible.
Fair. What the ones I put there? Use solicitors that get the job done, not necessarily the cheapest. We have fallen foul so many times with previous solicitors that we've used that just haven't been quick enough. And we've thought, we'll go with these guys. They seem okay. They're really reasonably priced. But price doesn't equal value necessarily. We would rather pay more now for solicitors to just get shit done, because like we've just mentioned, holding finance costs, delaying things only costs you even more money. So paying a little bit more on solicitors that actually are the bulls to get things done is well worth it.
Time, quality, cost. You only get two.
That triangle.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cool.
my next one I'm going to do. Term sheets mean fuck all. One of the bane of my existence this year is like I believe personally there's two main winners in this game, and that's banks and the tax man. Everyone else is trying to make it work, and the banks are just taking the absolute piss at the moment. Like, I'll go to the market, get 5 different term sheets, and those term sheets will be so far removed in every capacity by the time you actually draw down the money, and it's completely unfair. Actually, this week we had a lender where they had underwritten the deal, it'd gone through credit, we'd completed on the loan, there was a retention payment, and they still U-turned on that. So it's in wet ink that we're getting that money, and they still U-turned on releasing that capital. So all I would say is just be careful. Whatever term sheets you think look best in front of you, whether it's cheapest rate, best leverage, whatever it may be, they'll fudge you around so that it's not actually what they originally present, and take every term sheet with a pinch of salt, because they basically are a guide of where it's going to be near-ish, but we've had it moved. Like, we've had it 10% as far off when we actually get to the point of completion. So don't trust a term sheet.
Nice. Book utilities in as a matter of urgency. I just cannot. If you're in the project delivery phase of your projects, if that's your role, I say it every year and we still seem to get unstuck. Like, literally as soon as you get the keys for a property, start your utilities connections. It is just the most painful process, specifically Thames Water. Actually, it's a bit, I'm being a bit harsh on Cadent Gas and UKPN and well, maybe not UKPN, but SS&E have been pretty good. But Thames Water, absolute nightmare. We were meant to have connections at our St Andrews Court project back in August. They turned up and said, oh, didn't realize actually we need 2-way traffic management. Fine, okay, so delayed another 6 weeks. They rock up again on site 6 weeks later. Actually, oh, we need 3-way traffic management. We'll have to go back again. 6 weeks later, turn up again. Oh, actually, we need a full road closure. And now we've got a booked installation for February, beginning of February next year. So we're talking 6 months from when they were first meant to install it to actually when we now got a date for install. It's just a joke. So make sure that you're working with a utilities consultant to help manage that process and drive things along.
Could we just request a road closure from day one?
I don't know. God knows.
I'm just thinking, rather than mess about with just go for the jugular and it's done.
Yeah. I mean, why they can't see what they need to do from plans and have to do like 3 visits to realize what's actually needed. I mean, it's just bonkers. Anyway, one more, I think. Yours?
Yeah, I think I might actually have 2. So I was going to say it's the risks that create the margin on developments, not the upside. Obviously, being internal optimists as developers, you look at, oh, we could go into the loft, oh, we could do this, but managing the risk is almost just as important as creating a margin. And then last but not least is you make the money when you buy. Like, I still stand by this. It's a term that I've heard since I came out of the womb. And if you haven't created margin from the point that you buy, I don't think you're going to make money on a development. You don't want to start on the back foot. And we've had this in Apara. We were buying some assets at market value. Yes, granted, we were putting a lease in place, which does change the valuation. But if we bought all of those assets below market value as a bricks and mortar valuation, we wouldn't be in anywhere near as much difficulty as we are now. And in Central Suites and XP, we kind of have a knack for getting good deals, and that has, I think, stood us in really good pace to, when you then create value in, creative structures, and then in design and planning, and then in construction, and then in sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it allows you to weather the storm
and making the money work. Exactly that. Yeah. That's it.
And I think, we did touch on it, always be raising capital. Good deals are hard to come by. Should always be looking for deals. But the other thing that you should always be looking for is investment. Any kind of investment, whether it's loan agreements, whether it's equity partnerships, joint venture partners, you always run out of cash as a developer. You've always got new schemes that you want to pipeline and throw in the mix. You're not always going to have liquid cash available yourselves to be doing those. And when something good does come across your desk, you want to jump on it, and you want to have some people in the background investment that can move forward with it. So
I would actually say always be raising is super key. But even if you haven't got a deal on your lap, always be building relationships with the capital you want, so you don't have to necessarily be always having something on the table. Good.
Absolutely. We would love you to rate us on Spotify and leave a review on Apple. And if you tag us on social media, we will be giving a free one-to-one session in the new year. If you do it before Christmas Day, we will get a free one-to-one session in with those people that share it, tag us, notify us that we've been tagged. And we're looking forward to we've already got 5 or 6 people that have done this. So we'll have a special kind of 1 hour Zoom session where we'll, no holds barred, ask us what you want, and we will get into the nitty gritty of your business, also get into the nitty gritty of our business, if we're asked to kind of expose a few things. So 2025, what does it hold? You should be setting goals for your business. You should be then looking at kind of breaking them down into bite-sized pieces on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis. We've talked about strategy on a page before, which is what we use, and there'll be lots of videos in our library that sort of goes through what that is and how you can be better at setting goals and structuring it for you. But we wanted to give some headline figures. So again, you guys can hold us accountable and ask us, if we've done these types of things, and we can review it next year on a similar call. So business goals for 2025, XP Property, complete all developments. Absolutely, that is fundamental. We've got £30 million worth of development across the 5 sites, well, 6 sites now actually, that we are going to be delivering in 2025. So we want to absolutely complete all of those developments by this time next year, and actually most of them should by this time next year be exited, i.e., sales all complete, wrapped up by Christmas. That would be a very, very nice Christmas present. Number 2, hitting 110% rental coverage on overheads. Now, what this means and what we're targeting, like Jack said earlier, we've got our doctor surgery conversion, which is going to kick out a decent amount of chunky net profit every month. What we want to get to is a point where our £30,000 overhead as XP Property as a business per month is covered by rental income. So we know that our assets are kicking out enough rental income to cover the overheads of our development business, so that we don't have to worry so much. We don't have to do deals. If we can't find good deals to do, then we don't have to do them, because we know that our income is covering our overheads and expenses. Purchase the bank and deliver. That's the 6th project that I was talking about. We've got a bank in Oxfordshire that we are buying for again, partial rental, partial sales. We want to secure 3 new projects so that our 30 million pipeline that we are completing on this year continues to roll over. We deliver that 30 million, but we've got a further 25 million of projects in the pipeline that we are actively progressing with. Do you want to talk about the other 2, Jack?
Yeah, sure. So number 4 as a goal for XP is to launch our Investors Club. So we've made the conscious decision to build more of a relationship and a community for our investors. We've actually had a conversation with an investor fairly recently who wanted some advice, some honest opinion on other investments that we're making. So we want to make a thing of it. So whether it's built around golf days or days out or lunches or dinners, we're going to be launching XP Property Investors Club. It's going to be referral and invite. It's going to be referral and invite only. It's going to be completely free. You just have to be a willing investor to join. Obviously, we've already got a long list of people that we already work with that are really keen to come on board. So we're going to be launching that across several events and make it a formal club, and then feature on 6 podcasts. When I was with Daniel Priestley, he said that we need to also be on other people's podcasts as well as our own. So we would like to sort of spread the weight and meet new people and feature on other people's podcasts too.
Yeah, nice. I actually yesterday was interviewed on the Architecture Social podcast with Stephen Drew. It was really good fun. He's Welsh guy, very funny. It was really, really good experience. I've spoken to him before on a couple of podcasts previously, but this was just more about how running an architecture practice alongside the development business. There's a lot of architects out there that want to start their own businesses and start their own developments. So it was all about that. So that should be launching soon. And I'm still actually one of the top viewed video podcasts on the Business of Architecture UK channel, talking about a similar thing, being running an architecture practice and running a property development business, and how those 2 combine. So if you run a podcast yourself and you tune into us regularly, we'd love to be on your show. Drop us a message, drop us a DM, because we'd love to talk to you. Cool. So XP surveys. Sorry,
should I do this one?
Yeah.
because you'll be doing Aura next.
True.
So the first target is to hit 450k revenue per calendar year. We're obviously that average out to be about 40k gross per revenue per month, which we have had months that strong, but it's all about consistency and making those big months even bigger, and obviously the average a lot higher. We're looking to hopefully make 30k net profit. I mean, this just goes to show the truth of business. 5 years running, and we're looking to make 30k net margin over the year is not easy goings. We'd like to hit and maintain 50% gross profit margin over the year, which is obviously targeting our efficiency of our delivery output. So obviously in overheads, you have your fixed overheads, which is what nets down to the net profit, but then you have your variable overheads, which gets you to your gross profit margin. And then number 4, sell out all 3 events, which I touched on in the early episode. Over to you, Ben.
Nice. So Aura-wise, I would like the business to make 150 grand net profit. We've been sort of teetering around there for the last couple of years. So it's not going to take, hopefully, a huge amount of effort to push that up to where I want it to be. That being said, our year end is end of July. So we're like 4 months into this year now. And we're actually running at a small loss over the last 4 months. So we've got a lot of stuff to turn around in that business. We've had a few projects being delayed. And it's worth saying, like, it seems to be a very, very difficult business over the last couple of years, and some really big players within the sort of small architecture space have gone bust in 2024. There's a number of high profile businesses that have 40,000 followers on Instagram, do some amazing work, that have filed for liquidation in 2024. So to a certain degree, I count ourselves very lucky in how we've sort of built the business and the foundations that we've created to kind of ride the storms of people sitting on their hands and not wanting to spend the money on their homes because of finance, costs escalating. And I think it's been a really difficult time. So I'm happy to be where we are, but I really want to get to that 150 grand net profit margin next year, which is a tall ask given that we're already sort of on the back foot. Part of doing that will mean increasing our sales conversions. So we found out yesterday that it wasn't as bad as what I thought it was. I thought we were at about 20% conversion and wanted to increase it to 25%. But actually we're at currently about 33% conversion rate from fee proposal to job acceptance. So my target for next year will actually be to increase that sales conversion rate to 40%. We also want to get 25% uptake on interior design services. So at the moment, 2024, we started to really go to town a little bit more on our interior design offering. We offer purely interior design services now, which we didn't really do. And we only really had a couple of clients kind of upsell onto that interior design package along with their architectural work. But we are doing a far better job now of showcasing what we're capable of from an interior design perspective. And my goal is that 25% of our clients uptake on that interior design service, and that we generate 100 grand in revenue from that interior design work. I want to launch Aura Sustainability. That is something that we've already started to put in place. One of my teams recently been on a SAP course, which is all about EPCs and generating energy efficiency calculations and that sort of stuff. I'm going to be going on a similar course in January to kind of upskill myself. And then we're also launching a property developer marketing offering. So we do this in XP Property, obviously, because we market, we brochure, we brand identity every project. But there's no reason why Aura can't be feeding into that process, providing the interior design services, providing the interior design specification, and then also taking it one step further and providing the graphic design package to brand the site and provide all of the marketing material that a property developer may need in-house. So watch this space for that. Central Suites.
Cool. Last but not least. So I've broken this down to flips and HMOs, because obviously Central Suites is very flippy and HMOE. So we've currently got 3 flips in delivery, and it's to complete those and to find a new flip. We've actually got an investor ready to go for a new flip, so we're on the hunt. I was hoping to win the one in auction on Wednesday, but we didn't. HMOs, complete the 3 existing, 2 new HMOs into the portfolio, and then 2 new HMOs in the portfolio builder. So the portfolio builder is where we are a co-partner with an investor and we build a portfolio with them. We have 2 partners that we've bought sites with already, and we have a new one that's gagging for a new project. So we really need to get our hunt on and get that bought. As you can probably guess from the above, we need someone to help in delivery. We're on the hunt for someone that's technical, someone sort of probably got building surveying or project management or quantity surveying background to help manage all of these projects. So we're going to be bringing those in. We would like to hit 1 million in revenue. We're currently at about 650 grand in income in terms of rents and management fees. And I really want to hit £1 million by the end of next year. That doesn't include our delivery, and we're currently at 5 million delivery, and I want to take that to 6 million delivery. But a few of the projects that we are currently delivering will fall into that. So it's not 6 million annualized, but it's still quite a big size. I mean, if you add that together with XP, it certainly props up the table a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So hold us accountable to this, check in, make sure that we are on target, and hopefully this time next year we'll be going through these and ticking them off, and yeah, it will be a successful 2025. So that's the business stuff. I thought I'd throw in some personal goals as well, because fundamentally you are the leader, the director of the the businesses. So keeping yourself accountable, setting your own goals personally, I think is also really important to keep you sharp. My personal goals, I'm the big 4-0 next year, which is absolutely mad. And I would like to get down to a 14% body fat by September next year. So I've got 9 months. Christmas is in the way, which doesn't help. But I've already made some progress over the last month. I started at 17.2. I'm now at like 16.7. I'm sure there'll be a bit of a blip over the next week, but in January we'll start to sort of chip away at that as we go. Prolific pensions. I want to get a SaaS set up next year. We've got some money coming back into the businesses from the profitable schemes that we're delivering. There's a lot of kind of money there that needs a home, and the sort of longevity of thinking future planning with the family and 2 kids now and the future. I want to look at kind of options to get a SaaS set up and how I can sort of reinvest that money into the property schemes that we're working on in a tax efficient way. And then a bit of me time. So my third objective is to make sure that I'm booking in, and my goal actually in January is to book in every single month. Like book in for January, February, March, April, like book them all in January, basically ahead of time. 1 physio stroke sort of deep tissue massage per month. That's my personal objectives. Jack, you've got a couple as well?
Yeah, so gym 3 times a week and get my handicap sub 15, which is the golf one. I like that. Which will help the Investors Club. Obviously supposed to be building my own house this year, and that just got delayed for various reasons, mainly planning and funding and tax. And
we should do a bit on that. Show it on screen and talk about it.
Yeah, we should. Well, let me get it all lined up first. So, like you said, I don't want to do all of the hard work and then it not crack on. But we will once we start, spading ground, or even just get the funding lined up. We can do a bit on that. So yeah, have that at least 50% complete. Hoping to start that in Q2 next year, and then surround myself by winners. What I've loved and learned about Dubai is, you can socialize and have fun with other people that inspire you. And I feel that haven't done loads of that this year. As in, I'm talking about like the people that when I met Daniel Priestley, I kind of felt like I was with a celebrity, like I've been following his stuff for so long. And it's getting in those rooms with those types of people that make you think differently, is a goal for me.
Nice, very good. So those are sort of personal, individual, like bit of fun stuff type stuff. But then what I also want, so this is a lot of stuff that I've found on the Property Entrepreneur, and why I'm sort of breaking it down this way, because we've got headline strategy.
I would have never guessed this was from PE. Like
what, all of your
the postman,
prolific pensions. Exactly. Yeah, this is very Property Entrepreneur. But it's fun. You sort of remember them because they're catchy kind of mantras, stroke titles. But although we've just talked about like business goals across the businesses, within those businesses, like Jack and I create and have different roles. So what these are about are more like professional objectives. So who do you want to be within those businesses to help you get to like the next level and pushing forward? So my professional objectives, there's 3 of them. Brain dump to position jump. Effectively, I'm way too involved in the day-to-day of the sort of the management and the delivery, and I've not done a good enough job of systemizing kind of the design and delivery phase of how XP operates. So my goal for 2025 is to create a full kind of how-to of property developments from start to finish. What needs to go into every stage? At what stage does it need to be factored in, coordinated? Who do you need? What are our standard procedures for certain things? What trackers can we create to kind of track planning conditions, building control conditions, all that sort of stuff? And that's brain dump to position jump. And then the postman, deliver all sites profitably. Like we've just said, it really is a big year, 2025, of delivering all of these, 25, 30 million pounds worth of projects. So that is a real big professional objective for me to do. And then similar to the first, but getting out of the weeds. I tend to do a lot more than I should do in terms of the technical aspects of things. I shouldn't really be doing anything. I should be teaching the team how to do. So that's one of my goals 2025. Make sure that I'm downloading the knowledge and everything in my brain to the team so that they can learn and build themselves, basically.
So I actually didn't get the brief for this one, maybe.
No, I still think yours. It's fine.
Yeah. So one
There's
goal
no
is
mantras there though, but I'll let you off.
I'm
not woo-woo enough.
Not into that. Yeah. I mean, I'll give you a high five after. Make 12 hours reflection / strategy per week. I feel that when one of the most, and you realize this when you have business advisors that come in and work with you and non-exec advisors that come and work with you, most of the ideas you come up with yourself. And I was actually told this great phrase that I'm about to share with you all. On Goldman Sachs, I was told that a mentor or a business coach is to not hold a window in front of you. They're to hold a mirror in front of you, because you've got to come up with the ideas yourself, which I did enjoy. But I do feel like my creativity and my mind and ideas are just, when I'm speaking to another business owner, I'll come up with a load of ideas and they're like, wow, thanks, that's a really good idea. And then they go and implement it. And I was like, oh, that was a good idea, bloody hell. But I don't even sometimes have time to do that in our own business because we're so stretched thin and worked all around the clock. So more time on reflection and strategy is something that I really want to focus on. I've actually had on my wallpaper for 2 years now, just a little line item that says strategy, people, cash and execution. And I try and remind myself of that daily to implement that board, but I haven't had that time. So more downtime, like focusing on strat. Spend more time in XPS and CSL, which is actually resonates. I didn't actually see those goals on that last page when I saw it, but this year I've probably done 30 to 35% in Aparo. So if we get some more of that back, it would be nice to give those businesses what they need and help them grow. Start and running an investors club. So if anyone's interested from an investment perspective, we're running this exclusive club, referral only, and I will be really hitting that hard next year. And then last but not least, sales and fast, because all of the hard work that we've done over the last 7 years is penultimately on a lot of the pipeline that we have this year. So we're going to look to focus to exit those as best we can. Yeah.
Cool. So what are we thinking about beyond 2025? This is more bigger picture, blue sky thinking. Where do we want to take things? I've realized that my animations are all over the place, but it's fine. XP Property, this is one thing that Jack came out of the Goldman Sachs with in terms of showing our destination. It's going to help us raise more investment, show people kind of where we're headed and bring people along the journey. It's a bloody scary number, if I'm honest. But, looking back and running the calculations, there's no reason why we can't actually achieve it. And our sort of mission statement, I guess, now is basically to develop £1 billion worth of property by 2040. So effectively we've got 15 years, which seems mad, but we've already been in it for 7 of them. So yeah, £1 billion in property development by 2040. That is the mission. XP Surveys, we are looking to take to a national business. We really do want to kind of grow that significantly, utilizing technology and AI, and that really does need to be the focus in 2025 to grow that. And there's a lot to do, and when it's not being given that much time, because Jack and I are so busy doing the other stuff, it's really hard. And I see that business, I'm like, there's so much potential there, but it needs more time and needs more, resource allocated to it. So hopefully in 2025, we'll be able to do that and start that trajectory towards a more national business, rather than like just the London, the home counties, which is where we mostly operate. Or I want to get to a point eventually where we're doing sort of 200 grand net a year consistently. I don't think we don't have to grow a huge amount to get to that level. We need to grow a little bit in terms of the top line revenue, but then it's going to be all about efficiencies within the team and diluting the operational costs so that it's a smaller percentage of our overall revenue. So yeah, over the next couple of years, it's really going to be about bottom line time. And actually dropping all of that top line revenue down to bottom line profit. And eventually, I would love to get to a point where we are turning it into an employee ownership trust. So this is the likes of John Lewis and Waitrose, where effectively all of the employees own the business. And I think that's a great way. We've got some great people in Aura. In the future, I would love to kind of hand that over to the team and have them be part of more than just, on the PAYE.
Cool. For CSL, just 1,000 homes.
Yeah. Where are you at the moment?
This is I classify a bedroom as a home, so we're actually well more progressed than XP's target. Someone's just come in our office, so I don't know who it is. So yeah, we're currently around 150 plus beds, and for us, I'm actually in a race with Ryan Beaumont. Is the real story. So whoever gets to 1,000 first has to buy the other person a house.
Nice.
Is the rule, but I can actually sneakily just squeeze in a few XP's sites and be like, well, the difficulty is up in Darlington. He can get a house in change at the local post office. So it's a very different gig. But obviously our target, the reason that we set up Central Suites is both my brother and I lived in shared housing at university, and both of our experiences of those were really, really bad. And that was the real driver and the reason why we set up the business. And to have a stand mark of 1,000 people that are happily, harmoniously living in our properties is making a good start to getting a good name out there for good landlords, because good landlords have a bad name, and we've been first hand of that. The assumption is you're a bad landlord. So to try and get that message out there through our own stock and others that we know do another good job as well.
Nice, amazing, cool. I don't think we've got enough time to really go through all of the sort of land costs that we were going to go through, but anyway, hopefully it's been an enjoyable kind of process, a bit of self-indulgence really with this, but you should be doing this in your own business. Hopefully it gives you guys who tune in regularly an insight into the inner workings of our business, what our targets are, and hopefully you can hold us accountable to those. But if you want to start and scale your business in 2025, Monday 26th of January, we'll be doing a live webinar about 7:30 in the evening. Hopefully a link will be in the description somewhere, or you can DM us to get more details of that. But we'll be running through the 5 pillars of successful property developments, how you can find more, fund more, and get the best out of enhancing schemes through design and delivery. I'm sure those listening in will find loads of value through it. So make sure you register for that, for something to kickstart your January in 2025. But anything else you wanted to say before we shoot off?
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Very good. Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a great time. Don't get too fat. See you in the new year. And hopefully 2025 will be the best year on record for you.
Let's go.
See ya.